Hey, me.
Riley.
It's turtle time again.
Has it already been a week?
Um, a week since our last episode?
I guess
Yeah,
so.
right? 7 days?
Yeah, we're on like the precipice of real Bravo season actually starting. I feel like it's been a lull. So I think, because what? Is it New York or Salt Lake that starts next week?
So, if I got my facts correct, Salt Lake City, September 18th. This is, I'm almost 100% positive. Roni, 10-1.
Okay.
And then I think Potomac. I don't know what the date is on that, but shortly after, and
Yeah.
then Beverly Hills. And I don't know if you've seen the promos, but Bravo's like, put on your winter clothes or your fall clothes, get a pumpkin ready because fall is fully Bravo time. So all of the heavy hitters are coming back. But you're exactly right. This is the end of the lull. This will be the last week that you and I can only talk about OC before all of the most powerful shows in the world come back.
Yeah. I'm excited. I am ready. Did you watch the Potomac trailer?
Yeah, I did. I did, and I think that I didn't think that it looked very good for the most part.
Mhm.
Definitely, it didn't feel like the reinvention that I felt like that show warranted,
Mhm.
in my opinion. And also, I realized that I like Robin and Candace, and I think they are good cast members.
Oh yeah.
So firing or letting them quit or whatever Bravo did, I kind of just uh, like removes two people that provide entertainment for the most part, and then you know leaving it with the cast members that we have. I love them, but like I've never really appreciated Wendy and Mia too much, and now
Mhm.
they're like the stars of that franchise. And then yeah, so it didn't seem like a huge shift forward for the franchise from what I saw. What about you?
Right. Yeah. Like you wouldn't think by watching it that there was a huge flop season before that everyone was like, this show's gone downhill. Like they just added two new people that, judging by the trailer, not that much action, but who
No.
knows? But yeah. And then there's like another DUI plot line, which I'm like, ugh, it's so dark.
I know. I didn't remember when Karen Huger drove drunk as hell into a brick wall.
I know. I feel like that went under the radar.
Yeah, I kind of got overshadowed, I think, by Shannon's. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they potentially fixed it. Even if you were a huge Potomac fan and you were so happy for the future of Potomac because you found out that Robin and Candace had been replaced with two new cast members, I don't even think that you would be like, this trailer blows me away with potential. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even really think about Candace, but I do like her.
Yeah, I really like Candace. I think that she was the one good casting decision they made post the original cast. I
Yeah.
mean, I Wendy and Mia never really hit for me, um, ever.
What's Giselle going to do without Robin?
I really don't know. She's going to have to reorient. I don't know. You know what? Candace was sort of the main antagonist for her, and now it's kind of like she won the group. I mean, she's decent with Ashley. She'll have the simmering feud, but still we love each other dynamic with Karen Huger. And then I don't know, all the conflict will have to be with Wendy and Mia and the new cast members. But I think she'll fare fine,
Yeah.
with the new cast.
Yeah. I feel like I need to see more because the trailer, I was kind of like, it was what, like 2.5 minutes? And I feel
Yeah.
like there wasn't that much to fight on to.
There really wasn't. I mean, unless I'm forgetting anything, there wasn't one moment that really stood out to me. Like, I'm interested in hearing more about this.
Right. Was the moment at the end, who was that guy that Mia was with? Is that supposed to be like her new boyfriend or something?
I'm not sure. I didn't
Because
know who
it
that
was like
was.
them facing off with her husband. And that just kind of made me sad because I always like feel bad for her husband.
Whose?
Mia's.
You do?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm interested. Yeah, I'm interested in maybe they can pull it off. I have to ask you. I don't know. Did we cover last season of Potomac? Slash, did you ever finish it?
I don't think I finished it. I think we covered it like in little dribs and drabs, and then we gave up.
Man, wow.
I like how we keep revealing that we just like peter out on like multiple shows, and we're like, no,
Yeah.
sorry. And we
I'm
just like
yeah,
never watched Dubai.
yeah, I know. But we will. I'm sure at some
Mhm.
point we probably will once that gets in the rotation. I watched all of Miami. I think I told you I watched all
Yeah,
of Miami because I was on, I was just having the time of my life just watching television, and I love Miami. I mean, I would love to put that into our repertoire.
yeah.
Once,
I mean, I'll definitely catch up before the new season. I'm down.
yeah.
Um,
So Potomac didn't spark that much joy.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, we didn't. I know it was a big topic last week. We haven't had time yet to discuss what Lala did name her baby.
Yes, you and I were teasing the shit out of it last week. That was last week, right? That was last week's episode.
Yes.
And I mean, you hit the nail on the head.
Like it was almost like seaweed.
Yeah. Seaweed people are divided. It's either Portuguese slang for seaweed or saltwater. I saw both. But I
So
mean, yeah, Sosa. How did you
interesting.
when you were thinking about it, were you like if we would have kept doing names, do you think we would have gotten to Sosa?
I've never heard such slang.
Oh, for seaweed or saltwater?
I'm not like in the ocean being like, look at all this Sosa.
Yeah, I was fairly familiar with it. I wasn't sure exactly, when I was out in the beaches. I knew I thought it referred to, I guess, salt water, but people are, they don't know which it is. But I think it's a. How do you feel about that name?
I'm not, I don't know. It's kind of weird because like she's Lala and then there's like Sosa and then ocean.
Sosa, Ocean, Lala. Yeah, I'm waiting for. Do people have to explain their names?
No. I
Oh,
mean, I guess if she could do like Sosi or something could be cute. I don't know. I'm not like horribly offended by this name, nor am I greatly enamored with it. I'm kind of just like, okay.
yeah, yeah. I think for me too. I think I like it. I think I would be. I'm gonna really. I'm gonna think about it more. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I mean,
I was
it was.
expecting squid.
You were.
Yeah.
We knew it was S. Right after we got done recording, everybody was like, "It's going to be an S name." But I think it's. I do think Lala will probably say what it means at some point because that will probably be the biggest Amazon Live or
Oh, yeah.
Instagram question at some point. Where did you get Sosa from? So I think she'll have to dive in
Yeah.
uh,
I still
to.
think squidly, like squid, Leigh. Squidley.
Squid, and you said Leigh,
Yeah.
pronounced Squidly, would have been preferable to Sosa.
I think that would be such a cool name.
I think so too. I mean, it definitely hits all the bases of what she was wanting to do, which is connected to ocean. I guess you have to. I guess when people are saying Sosa is Portuguese for saltwater seaweed, we have to say that is what she's going for, right? Because she did say, I swear, there's evidence of her saying Ocean's baby sister's name is going to be in perfect correlation with hers. So it has to
Yeah.
mean that.
Right. I don't know where she pulled that one from, but yeah, would love to hear it. Um, and then do you think, is it, I guess we only have rumors and like TMZ fodder on the new iteration of Vanderpump, but we don't know who's involved, like Lala, for instance.
Yeah, the last thing I saw was on TMZ. I saw this, so I don't know. I think it's almost 100% verifiable, but they said that cameras were up at Sir, and they were filming around Sir, And people, I guess they had a source, and they said that they're doing a camera test potentially for new cast members that actually are tied to the Sir environment to see if they pop on camera, like if there's any juice to be squeezed from Sir. So I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily in conjunction with the actual season of Vanderpump Rules. It could possibly be a spin-off that's more tied to uh, the Vanderpump establishments because the cast have sort of, flown away from that.
Yeah.
Or it could be a testing ground to see which cast members to add to Vanderpump Rules and do a redo of the season 8
Hmm.
concept, but do
Hmm.
a better job than Brett and Max and Dana and Danica. It's like a round 2,
Right.
potentially.
Right. Yeah. That's what I read. I was confused because it was like potentially both a spin-off and a wind down of the original cast
Mhm.
or something like that. But it is interesting that season 8 sucked so bad because those are people. Like, do you think they organically truly hung out with those people as much then, or do you think they've become closer since? Because we know that Max is in the mix across the board, and Katie had sex with him, and then Dana's like I mean, she has a podcast with Katie too, but like she's like everywhere all the time. So I'm like, she seemingly is a slam dunk,
Dana.
but yeah, but
Yeah.
like she wasn't.
She wasn't. I think because they inorganically introduced that cast so ham-fistedly into our uh, lives, and no one was ready to see what the hell they were doing. Like having scenes where only Max and Brett and
Hmm.
Dana are hanging out, and it was like, why are we watching like Muppet Babies tied like on the actual Muppets show when we want the original cast?
Yeah.
But I think if they could possibly make it seem more, well, I don't know. Now the cast is even further away from the restaurant, so now I would imagine that those scenes would feel even less organic. James is
Right.
DJing at Sir, once every 4 months, and here's like one of the waiters coming over, and then we're going to see their lives. Like I think it makes more sense to me to potentially just end Vanderpump Rules in this iteration for season 12 and then start some new Peacock show that's the second generation and make it a completely different show.
Right. Yeah, it's like if, we hadn't already used all those people, it could have been like if Max would have gotten threaded in by way of like people finding out that Katie hooked up with him. And then like Dana, it would be more organic now because there's like the podcast. Like it could just be that like, although I feel like, have they ever outside of like fake podcast shit where like Sheena went over to Schwartz's house or like Stassi at the bar, are those only times they showed a podcast? Like I feel like they wouldn't go to like a studio and like get footage of that. I feel like they don't want to support that habit.
Of taking us into like the disrespectfully
Yeah.
environment. I think they would do it. I mean, there's really no difference between when Sheena would go show up to her the early Shenanigans podcast and interview Schwartz about kissing Rachel like she did in
Yeah.
season 10. I mean, it's just it's a better produced podcast now. I can imagine them
Right.
filming that environment. I mean, the problem with even them introducing the cast like that, people that we didn't want to see and have their own storylines, and 30% of that season being dedicated to new cast members. To be fully honest, Dana, Max, and Brett, unfortunately, were just not very compelling, no matter
Yeah.
what the hell they're doing behind the scenes. I mean, no matter how
Right.
many times he's having sex with Katie or whatever Dana's doing, it's not any fault of theirs. It's just I don't think a lot of people were interested in what they were bringing onto the show. They seemed above the show. Dana
Hmm.
did, Max did. Brett was the only one that I think was specifically cast. And he was, in his arc and his dynamic on that show was probably the least compelling of all of them. Was that guy
And
Brett?
was he one of the ones that got canceled?
They both did, I think.
Okay.
Right around whenever Stassi and Kristen got canceled. Max and Brett all got canceled as well. Or I think that it wasn't a hard choice for Bravo at that point to say no more of these two boys. But
Yeah.
that was enough of a push out the door for them.
Right. I wish there was like an official database that I could cross reference to be like canceled or not canceled or like soft canceled.
Oh, of course. We've talked about that.
Like I want official, because sometimes I'll be like, I was thinking about, I looked on Instagram the other day, and the model Karen Elson got married, and her ex-husband is Jack White.
Oh, right.
And because I was looking at her photos and she was posing with this pretty young woman, and I was like, oh, is she marrying a woman? Like, who is this pretty young girl? And then I like went to her account and I was like, oh, it's her daughter with Jack White. And it was like pictures of them both together moving her into college. And then I started like, I was like, oh, they're still friendly. And like, and then I like looked up and I had forgotten that apparently they had like a divorce party when they broke up. That was like, come celebrate our like
Wow.
breakup or whatever. So like, I was like, oh, it ended for some reason. Tell me if I'm wrong. I could have taken a next step further, but I thought shit ended on like poor terms. And in my mind, I was always like, is he bad?
I don't remember. I know that he got canceled in 2002 for beating up the lead singer of the Von Bondies.
Okay.
And then, you know, he was doing a lot of upholstery and
Right.
what's it called when you sew up animals?
Taxidermy.
Taxidermy and upholstery. And then I don't know. I don't know what he did. That I didn't. That's a perfect
But
example
can't you
because
feel
in my
it? A little tinge.
I feel a tinge. I feel if you and I did a little bit of digging on Jack White, we would find some disagreeable stuff that I think one could determine him as canceled. The Von Bondies thing, I forgave him personally, but that was a huge issue if back in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Did he
And
just
then, you know,
reply to Meg or something?
was he?
I don't know.
He
But I
th-
saw that they're suing Trump, him and
Oh,
Meg.
they are because Trump started walking out to Seven Nation Army. You should have seen it was. You can't even watch the video now because it's copyright infringement. But you should have seen the dance that he did to Seven Nation Army. It was absolutely disrespectful to the song.
That
He
song
did.
is really international
Yeah,
wonder.
yeah. He started doing the air guitaring the riff. To Seven Nation Army, that is, yeah. Did you say that song is kind of popular?
Well, it's like every sports stadium in the whole world uses
Yes.
it.
Yeah, it's like it's yeah. I mean, it is just that riff really got us all so excited. It's like, what are the other equivalents? There's like the We Are the Champions.
Yeah.
There's like the
What's the
oh. You know what I'm talking about?
what's the one that
No, 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 no. Oh. Yeah,
He's
I forget what
canceled.
that's the is that the Bull? Oh no, Bull's theme song is even better. That's that ding 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 ding. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. But these
Wait, what-
iconic songs,
what-
you're exactly right. But Seven Nation Army has to be the latest entry into to be one of the most popular sports theme songs you could ever imagine.
Yeah. What if, because I just saw like suing Trump for using their song or whatever, and I'm like, what would be a funnier thing? Like, if it was like, I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
If you're
Or
saying
something different.
if Donald Trump had walked out to that song, that yeah, I can't think of any other White Stripes
Fell in love with
songs.
a girl.
Oh yeah. I mean, really. I don't want to get too into this, but you know, any music that Donald Trump uses, it kind of casts a new kind of layer to it. But he's one of he has such an affinity for music, but all of these artists say absolutely not. For the love of God, Neil Young is like, stop,
Yeah.
please, don't play. What's the Neil Young song?
Um,
They just, I mean, it's just, I guess it's just jarring, but, Meg White, I was glad that Meg White, she had that big, long speech, which she doesn't normally talk, but she gave a big, long speech about how she didn't like Trump using that song. Just speaking, last soft cancel before we move on to the other piping hot news. I worked on a production one time where everybody was like, let's get Morrissey on it.
Okay.
And I will say it was like a 60-40. People didn't know whether or not Morrissey was canceled. I would say 60 to 65% said absolutely not. What the hell did he do?
Right.
But the 45 or 35, whatever the opposite of what I said was like, oh, I know what he did. Go search Google. But it's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like if a cancel happened, but no one knows.
Is he a true cancel or is he just an asshole?
He's a soft cancel. He's definitely a soft cancel. He's definitely in the realm of, do I like his music more than I want to peek into what he's done so that I feel bad about listening to his music? You know what I mean? I think that there is a justifiable way you could just close one eye and close your nose and still listen to Morrissey and reference the Smiths. But if you look at it and you wanted to make the case, you could say, I do not subscribe to what this man has said. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I'm always like sizing everybody up at all times.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Making sure. We talked about one of the biggest soft cancels was Aziz.
Oh yeah.
He got soft. Well, he got.
I would say he's out of the woods outside of niche circles. Like, I think there's certain women in like LA and New York that'll be like, ugh, but almost everyone else on earth is like, huh? I don't fucking care.
It was so wild that he got back out of the canceled bubble, and then he tried to make that movie with Bill Murray, and Bill Murray went to set the first day, and he goes, do you want to get canceled again? And he started throwing pots and pans and vases and stuff at people's heads the first day of set, and they canceled filming, and the movie's done.
Yeah. I went and saw Life Aquatic the other day during the heat wave, and it's funny being like not that enchanted with Bill Murray anymore.
Now.
Yeah, like I feel like for a long time, and probably to most people still, like he just had like a special je ne sais quoi.
Because he was always going
disenchanted by him now.
Yeah, because he was always, remember the era before we knew he was throwing cigarette ashtrays at Richard Dreyfuss's head on the set of What About Bob? It was like Bill Murray's on the subway, he's under the subway bench, and he goes, no one will ever believe you that I was laying under this subway. So there was a full like quirky Bill Murray era before we found out the horror stories. I'm so surprised that people are able to keep those stories on set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss waited 30 years before he said Bill Murray would put me in headlocks and put my head in a toilet on the set of What About Bob?
Yeah. And I think, I don't know how long ago Meryl told the story, but like Dustin Hoffman treated her like shit on Kramer vs. Kramer. And,
he did?
He was like a very intense actor. So like there's a scene when he like throws a glass against the wall or something, and he like didn't tell her he was going to do it. And it was like scary.
Oh my God.
And just like being a dick, you know?
Oh, that's awful. It brings to mind so many horror stories that I've heard. I was just thinking, do you think Wes Anderson, this auteur filmmaker that has a playful, fun energy and treats his cast like royalty and puts them up in bed and breakfasts in Spain, lets Bill Murray throw ashtrays at Tilda Swinton's head and stuff on these movie sets? Or you know what I'm talking about? Wes Anderson must say at some point, please, Bill Murray, don't do any roughhousing weird stuff on my movies.
Right. I wonder if he's better behaved because they're sort of like friendly, but probably not.
Who the hell knows? I was going to say about Dustin Hoffman, he got a little taste of his own medicine when one of the biggest tantrum throwers, baby directors in the world, David O. Russell, wanted to scream his little baby ass off at Lily Tomlin, Jason Schwartzman. Like,
I love how many times we've talked about it.
Seriously, though, there's nothing that is more eye-opening than when you watch that footage that was never supposed to be seen, and you find out that David O. Russell, the biggest screaming baby throwing a tantrum, is screaming at his actors on the set of a whimsical, sweet, philosophical movie like I Heart Huckabees. It is insane to me that he acted that way.
I Heart Huckabees is a great Cinematrix drop.
What if you threw if it was said David O. Russell screaming tantrums on set and you did I Heart Huckabees, what's that percentage? What's that percentage?
100%.
Oh, really? No. Oh, so everybody knows.
Or you got, I guess, Three Kings, he pulled that too, right?
Yeah, George Clooney had to put him in a headlock and put his head in the toilet. George Clooney said, "I'll never work with this guy again. What the hell is he doing?"
Yeah.
He's screaming at everyone on set.
Yeah.
Do you think he still did that on like that horrible, shitty movie Amsterdam that he made?
Definitely.
Why does he?
It did so bad. Also, for Cinematrix heads, remember when I saw Life Aquatic, I was reminded that Noah Baumbach co-wrote it.
Yeah. Oh, good. So that gets you a little
cameo.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. This is not news, but just to round out the Bill Murray corner, Noah Baumbach wanted Bill Murray for the father figure in Squid and the Whale. It was an easy leap, he thought, for him to go from a Wes Anderson collaborator to then making his own debut feature or second film and just have Bill Murray in that role. But Bill Murray said, absolutely not. I will not be in this movie. And that's why he had to go to Jeff Daniels.
Wow. Laura Linney was on Cinematrix today. Could have put Squid and the Whale.
You could have?
Could have. I didn't. I had other shit, but then I came up empty on a vowel one. Can you think of one?
A vowel? A movie that starts with a vowel that Laura Linney's in?
Yeah, well, actually, I shared it with you earlier. A perfect example that you have just watched.
Oh, my God. Yeah, can I say it?
Yeah, say it.
Amy texted me privately and said, look at what fits like a fucking glove for the Cinematrix today. And it was Laura Linney films that start with a vowel. And it's Absolute Power, the film I was talking about. Maybe, was that on Patreon or main feed? It's
either way, multiple people, like I went to a party like the week after that episode and so many people came up to me, like 3 of our friends that were like, I got to watch Absolute Power.
After we talked about it on Turtle Time?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
now
so
I wish
cool.
that I watched it because then I could have answered that today.
Oh, okay. Well, that movie doesn't leave you with anything. It's kind of fun to watch because the premise is so outlandish that you can't imagine a movie having that premise. I think In the Line of Fire is a little more fun. It has that same mystique of that weird, crazy premise, but I think it's a lot better movie than Absolute Power. So I got to shout out In the Line of Fire over Absolute Power. But
I just couldn't believe it. It was in the top answers. I mean, maybe Laura Linney hasn't done that many movies with vowels, so it was like kind of the best option. But I was like, who are all these people that know about this movie?
Is Y a vowel?
It doesn't count. I tried to put You Can Count on Me, and it was like, and then I read the description. It says Y doesn't count in their world.
I thought that was a slam dunk.
I know. I put it for Oscar nom option.
Okay. She's only been, like you said, she's only been in 6 movies.
I know, it's hard because I really like her and I was like, why can't I think of anything?
Yeah, she's good in Squid and the Whale.
Totally. I need to rewatch that. Speaking of divorce.
Oh. I just so you know, I started to watch Kramer vs. Kramer. I only watched about 15 minutes of it before we switched to something else, but I liked the start of it. But now it kind of ruins it for me to know that Dustin Hoffman was playing pranks on Meryl Streep on that set.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I feel like that's one of the like canon 1970s movies. Like, I feel like that's the first divorce, like, you know, tackling divorce movies, and like it's New York City. I think it's good.
Okay, that's great. I'm sorry. What perfect divorce segue were you doing? I'm sorry.
Jax, fresh off his divorce, apparently has moved into an apartment, unlike Sandoval ever would.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't even think about the Sandoval parallel. Jax said, you told me this. It was an ambiguous post to me. I saw Jax looking meditative and thoughtful, and I go, this makes sense to me. He's out of the mental health facility, so he's showing us that he's thinking about life. I didn't read the caption, and it said this bird has flown, or what did it say? That I'm
I've
out of
flown the
my.
coop.
What did he say? He goes, I'm out of my home.
It says it will take some time for my new place to feel like a home, but it will get there 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. And the photo is honestly, it's 2 photos. He couldn't choose, even though they're like exactly the same.
Oh, I love that.
Iconic, like very memeable for sure.
Oh, like to put something in there?
Like it's just, I feel like I can use it for everything. Like you could be like me studying the menu at a restaurant the night before your reservation, like
Oh, right.
or like whatever, like contemplating anything.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I want to think of one.
We should do a slideshow of like 10 different options.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to think of one too, but you're right. This is a perfect meme template for all the meme heads who want to do this. So you have to assume that he left Brittany and Cruz the home after all this shit that happened, and now he's going into his own apartment again.
Yeah, I wonder how that will work. Like, how does that work? Like, it's just comes out, like, they'll get divorced and then there will be a settlement. Like, either he lets her have it or she has to buy him out or they have to sell it.
I don't know. I feel like, we've been in this territory before,
Right.
right? Just
Uh,
recently with Sandoval and Ariana. It's like,
Not Jerry, Jeremy Maddox says, "This too shall pass." And
he said
Jax
that?
replied with a heart. And a lot of
He
people are
said,
saying, someone said, you caused your own problems. And he goes, "You're right, I did."
oh
Someone
my
said,
God.
"You blew it as a husband and a father." And he said, "I'm a great father and will be a great ex-husband. But yes, you're right. Being a husband did not work out for me."
Oh my God. He is so introspective right now. One mean comment says, focus on your son. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't mean. It said, focus on your son. All the rest will fall in place as it's meant to be. So it started harsh, but it's actually sweet.
Someone said, "What happened to your house?" And he said, "Brittany and my son."
Well,
What happened to my house?
yeah. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I think that I think it's good that he let Brittany and Cruz stay in that beautiful home, and he's the one who's well. I mean, not
He
that
could
there's
have
any.
done it sooner, but
Yeah, he was fighting like hell to stay in that house, but you know what? Not a lot of people get to be homeowners. I'm just
yeah,
speaking, for a lot of people, and what a luxury he had. But, some people have to go back to apartments. His best friend Schwartz did it.
yeah,
Let Schwartz be the guide for how you humbly go back into an apartment, and, things will get better. This is just temporary, and,
yeah. I mean, they do have that COVID mortgage rate, even though I think they're upside down on that house, but they've got some thinking to do. Speaking of, didn't Kristen and her now fiance, they moved into a house?
I'm so sorry. You sent me the news bulletins and I forgot to look that up. I didn't know that. All I knew was the first bit of news, but I didn't know.
I mean, it could be a rental. I don't think she just had like at one point I remember in the past few weeks some sort of a housewarming or something, but it could have just been that they moved into like a rental that's a house. But I'm not sure.
It's possible. Next week for sure. You and I will have looked that up and we'll get the truth on that. But we got to say a big, huge turtle time congratulations to Kristen and Luke, because Luke, during the filming of the Valley season 2, when they were on this beautiful Hawaii trip, Luke took her out on a boat and popped the question, and Kristen said yes, and now they're officially engaged.
He took a page out of Kyle Cook's book.
Oh, right. I didn't even think of the other time that happened.
But I think that the cast of the Valley was on the boat as well.
You think he made them go in the cabin underneath
The
for a
galley.
second? Do you think they had to go in the galley and he said, "Can I have the upper deck for a minute?"
He was like, "Kristen, will you join me on the plank?"
Oh my God. Yeah, it looked, there's a lot of, we talked about this when we were covering the Valley. There's a lot of stuff that they, still need to think think about in terms, there was some stuff they need to think about in terms of their future, but I like them as a couple. I think that they have a good balance together. I'm proud of them. The only issue I remember, which maybe they've resolved it, is that Luke seemed like he absolutely hated every single thing about Los Angeles and wanted to get out of here as quickly as he could, and Kristen didn't want to go touch wherever he was from with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a major thing you would think you would solve before getting engaged. So I'm also like, talk about getting a tingle of if someone's canceled. I am always, for some reason, waiting for the other shoe to drop with him.
Oh no. Oh no. I
It's all
respect.
lies.
It's not true. I respect your canceled tingle. I think it's
My
been
spidey sense.
I think it's been right 9 times out of 10. You're right. You're right a lot of the time. I think that Luke is I don't think there's going to be any skeletons that we're going to dig up in Luke's closet. I think that he was the friend of the bride or groom at that wedding. Him and Kristen locked eyes after telling a few jokes, and they made love in the bushes outside the wedding venue. And I think that what do you think? Well, I guess we don't want to speculate, but you just think that there might be something
Not, like,
we'll learn.
even necessarily like something horrifying. Just like he seems like he might have like a dark side.
All right. All right. Well,
I feel like I'm like one of the Carl haters that's like, we don't know what she sees at night.
right. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We all have horrible things that we do behind closed doors, and and you never know what can happen with any of us. But I think I feel like I'm an okay judge of what people bring to the forefront when they're in the Bravo environment. And usually if you have some kind of odd quirks or some sort of iceberg theory stuff beneath the surface, usually Bravo people capture it. And I noticed some, there's some things about Luke that you could imagine that him and Kristen maybe are not the best fit, but I felt like I got a good grasp of him as a human, and that we're not probably going to find anything too weird. But it's a 50-50 chance.
Sure. For her sake, I hope not.
Yeah. I'm happy for Kristen, because I know she loves Luke. I know that she wanted this, and I think it's a huge win for her. And I really loved seeing the people that, imagining all the people in her close circle that were so happy for her and proud of her, like Brittany.
Yeah.
Like I love seeing the tributes and stuff. I was just like, I don't know, that it felt nice to just celebrate a clear win for Kristen. You know what I mean?
I know. I was like that. I felt a little bad for Brittany that like this was almost kind of her like divorce trip, and then there was an engagement on it. But I think she can, just be happy for her. But I was like, that's kind of sad.
I think, yeah, you're right. But I think a little bit, the door opened, the dark room, a door opened, and she saw the light shining through. And I do feel like Brittany might be already now seeing what the future entails post Jax. And I bet it seems like a brighter future for now. I mean, the Valley is firing on all cylinders. This season is guaranteed to already have another season just based off what we know we're going to witness. Jax getting served divorce papers on camera, moving to a new apartment, Kristen getting engaged. Like, this is, it's greenlit for season 3. You can always imagine. So Brittany and then the future is Brittany going on dates and stuff. And that's going to be on the Valley. Like, they hit a core emotional or conflict zone with this cast, and the fallout from it, just from the first season alone, is probably going to propel this thing for a few more seasons, which is, best case scenario for that show.
Thank God for them that they have this income, that like the show panned out and they have a few more years of money.
The Valley had so much riding against it. We like betting against it. You and I were like, this looks like fucking garbage. I don't think we ever said it, but when Jax was when Jax was putting on those gloves and saying, I got to do the lawnmower, we were like, what the hell is this? Remember Tamra said, this is absolute trash. I've never seen anything like it. And then you and I both were blown away episode after episode.
I know. I have to eat crow a little bit because I was really not excited. I thought it was such a like regurgitation, like unnecessary. And little did I know that actually it's Vanderpump Rules that was going down the tubes, and this is what will save us.
Yes, the Vanderpump Rules life raft a little bit.
Yes. I did want to entertain this salacious rumor that I don't think has any merit, but I forget where we even saw it, but people online are having some fun with the idea that Danielle and Carl are dating.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine that being the case.
Yeah.
First of all, I think from what I know about Hub House PR and the Lindsay Hubbard factory, I think we would definitely be getting sneak peeks at that controversy from Hub House herself in the many forms and avenues she uses to express herself.
Yeah.
And I think for me, from what I can tell, Hubbard and Danielle seem to be doing good. And I don't think that would be the case I don't know. Unless you think Lindsay would be like, whoa, I love this, and I think this is a wonderful relationship. I would imagine there would be some ramifications for that relationship happening, right?
That would be, I mean, if that happened, I would be like, I don't know anything anymore.
It's kind of like it's bordering on Summer House fan fiction in a way.
Yeah, because I'm like, Carl just literally waded through shit for like a year, and like the internet like wanted him dead, like almost on par with Sandoval. I mean, not quite, but like almost.
No, yeah, it was very close.
I'm like, no woman would be worth what would happen if he did that.
So what would it be? What would it like for me? I just can't imagine it because I don't think anything can be that clean and work like to a Bravo producer, cut to a Bravo producer rubbing their hands together being like, this is the absolute gold.
Yeah.
I don't think
if it was like he was still drinking and she visited the summer house and like they hooked up, like I could see that, but it's like he's sober. They already tried to date before and it like didn't really work.
Wait, did they dated before Summer House?
Yeah, and then they hooked up on Summer House, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Again, I really need to do a rewatch, but yeah, like she dated him first. So if anything, when Lindsay started dating him, that's like why it was so weird that like for her, because she's like, I literally already dated him.
I don't think it's true. I think that we would hear whispers from the I don't know, whatever releases facts into the ether, because they would want that thing out so that you and I would be just as geared up for this season of Summer House like we were when we knew that Rad House was falling apart. So I don't think it's true. I think it's just very convenient and one of the easiest rumors you could get started, like with two of the principal cast members. It just sounds like it could possibly have happened, but I really don't believe it. But if it did, I really wouldn't be that dismayed with Carl at all. I think Danielle and Carl have an interesting dynamic.
No,
I wouldn't. You don't want it to happen.
She is a wild card.
Oh man, I don't feel okay. All right, I don't know. I don't feel that way about Danielle. I'd be
cut to Winter House last season where she was wielding a knife at Alex.
Yeah, she was just, I forget the knife wielding, but I will say she was just slightly, I remember she was drunk for one of those nights, and I think she was really horny. But that wasn't that bad. That was just an isolated incident. You know what I mean?
Was, like sent into a horny rage.
Yeah, I think so.
It happens to everyone.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, we'll ask Carl or Danielle, and we'll get this story certified either true or false by next week.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say with this is the Riley Hamilton prediction. It is not true, most likely. I don't think, but I'm wrong so many times that I could be wrong here.
I mean, if something like that happened, I'd be like, let's fucking go. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But, and then lastly, this isn't juicy because I don't even know who this person is, but right before we started recording, we were saying that there are photos of Bethany holding hands with a businessman in Los Angeles.
Yep. And I looked him up. I've never researched anything more for an episode. His name is Tom Valenti. I looked at his LinkedIn. He's the CEO of Yapstone, or he was for 24 years. He looks, I think, pretty cool. And they have footage of them going on a date to a seafood restaurant in Santa Monica. So Bethany was, I'll say it, right at home. And they have photos of them walking in, holding hands. They're kind of the best like paparazzi photos I've ever seen. I mean, they make Heather and Terry's paparazzi photos look like absolute shit. It's perfectly front facing, flash. And it's just them smiling right at the camera. And then the paparazzis even followed them into the car. And they got a photo of them sort of outside of the car with Tom Valenti giving a huge, I think, a thumbs up. And yeah. So
she looks good. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know exactly how long her engagement has been called off, but I mean, whatever, do you? But she seems like she's been having a good time out on the town. And we were saying, because she's in LA I think just for fun. And I was like, dude, how sick would it be if she moved to LA? Maybe this man lives in LA. I'm not sure, he might live in New York, but what if she moved to LA and joined Beverly Hills? That would never happen, but if it did, it would be so great.
Yeah, I mean, it would that franchise would skyrocket into a new territory that has been unseen in Bravo history. I mean, it would be earth-shattering for that to take place on that franchise, but unfortunately, I don't think Bethany and Andy Cohen want anything to do with each other ever again in their lives. Maybe in like 5 years or something. But as of now, I think they both burned bridges with each other. You know?
I also don't think that it's even possible for her to join a cast anymore because she's so, big for her britches at this point that like, I don't think she could assimilate into a group.
Yeah, but that round swamp thing was pretty humbling, like you and I talked about. She did not get the reception that she thought was warranted when she walked in there, and so maybe that kind of sent her back to earth a little bit. I mean, if
Housewives of Round Swamp Farms.
Someday I know in the future you and I will probably go to Round Swamp and get that chicken salad that everyone absolutely loves. I cannot wait.
Countdown to our invite to the Summer House 4th of July party.
If we did that on the same trip, do you think that would be good for us?
That would be perfect. I want to buy like $30 tomatoes and stuff.
Me too. I would go so nuts. I would dress like we've been talking about Cape Cod or like, what's that called? Eastern Seaboard? What's that called?
Like you can wear a seersucker.
Oh, I would I would buy a wardrobe just to dress like the ultimate. Is it Cape Cod? No, Montauk, like Hamptons. I would go absolutely nuts dressing like a Hamptons person for that full week that you and I get invited.
Boat shoes.
You've never seen You've never seen two boat shoes go on 2 feet faster than that.
Great. I can't wait.
Right. Was that all the news that we wanted to discuss?
I think so.
I mean, we covered a lot. We wanted to talk about Bill Murray, obviously. We wanted to talk about Jack White.
Matrix.
Matrix. That was a good warning that you sent out to people today. First of all, that Y was not a vowel.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I didn't even think to check the parameters because I was like, I know my freaking vowels. And then I was like, oh.
Is it A-E-I-O sometimes? Oh, no. Wait.
It's A-E-I-O-U and then sometimes Y?
What the hell is going on?
I don't even know what that is all about. I'm like, I need to go back to school.
Me too. Do you want to go back?
Turtle Time Academy.
I was thinking, like, First of all, Turtle Time Academy or Turtle Time University definitely has a
For
ring to it.
profit college.
Do you said for profit, right?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, even if it was nonprofit, the amount of government subsidies you and I could probably.
non-profit.
Yeah, right. Oh, right. Not for profit university. We would teach everything. But I was just thinking, like, if I was at a debate or you and I were at a debate and it was like a Bravo debate or something, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden, if the person, the moderator said, "What is 7 times like 9?" Like, that would be so disqualifying for me personally.
As the founder of a university.
Yeah. When we eventually have, scholastic debates. But anyway, well,
Yeah.
you want to tell the Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs sort of what the programming note is for the rest of this episode?
Yeah, so we're gonna part ways for the next hour, watch the new Orange County live on television,
Yeah.
log back on, talk about it hot, piping fresh,
Oh,
hot takes.
the hottest, and you've noticed when Amy and I watch this fresh, you get the absolute hottest takes you've ever seen. You and I don't have time to think about the takes we're going to give. It's just straight, no filter, and they've been some of the most piping hot commentary.
Stream of consciousness.
It's wild. So let's go do that separately in our. It's sad that we don't get to watch it together. I love when you and I exchange a glance on the couch when we laugh at something, but it'll be similar to that when we come back.
Exactly. We can live text or something.
Yeah, let's live text. Okay, I'm going to really watch it, and I'll see you back very soon. But there will be no time for Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs. It's a miracle of editing.
See
All
you
right.
in a second.
Okay, I'm going to take a certified turtle piss break.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. We're back.
Hello. Wow. Watched that episode.
I did too. How'd you feel about it?
It was fine. I just can't believe that the paparazzi shit really is the through line.
Right, yeah. It's neck and neck with Shannon, her, drunken behavior, driving around in a car and the fallout from that. And then second to that is Terry and Heather getting that paparazzi photo. I think that, okay, well, first of all, this episode, for everybody listening, it was called Catfights and...
Catwalk and Catfights.
Catwalk. I thought it was Cakewalk and Catfights, but it's Catfights and you said Catfights and
Catwalk and Catfights.
right. Yeah, I can't believe that paparazzi shit came up again. I think it's because Katie is so new to this universe that she thinks that once you get away from it and that once it's kind of away from you, you need to reclaim the narrative and bring it back a couple episodes later. I think it was just her being sort of not knowing what to do with the storyline and when to cut it off, and she wanted the last word on it. So it got it got brought up again for no reason, and it wasn't enjoyable to watch it brought up again.
No. Right. It's she really doesn't have anything else going on.
Which, is it's a bummer, because I do think if Katie had something else, if she hadn't just gone for right at Heather with this ammunition that she has and then kept bringing it up, I do think her home life is pretty interesting. She's actually having organic good friendships with the cast, Jen Petranti, and it seems like people like Katie. Tamara likes her. So this whole storyline is a flop.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point now where you said, you and I don't even want to go back to episode 1 or 2 when this all started to find out, did Gina leave her holding this bag of shit? We don't know the nuance of this storyline, and we don't care enough to investigate what happened. It's just it's just not interesting enough. So they need to really nip it in the bud, and I think Katie will after this one.
Yeah, I didn't have time to watch it, but Katie and Alexis were on Watch What Happens right after. So I need to watch that and see if her personality shines in that area.
Yeah. I think she's, well, yeah, I didn't see anything that Katie said, but I think that she's pretty compelling. I do think she has no idea what the hell she's done, and she hasn't watched these franchises very much. But I do think if she had better guidance or had not gone in thinking she has to bring something to the forefront, she would have done a lot better. She said, I did watch What Happens Live, and she said, if I didn't go for the jugular at Heather immediately, you all would have accused me of being boring. And then everybody kind of applauded and laughed because maybe that would be the case.
Yeah, possibly, but I'm just like, I think we're so burned out by Anna Marie vibes that I'm like, I can't do it again.
I would say first time cast members should not go in with something they want to do.
Yeah.
I would let the conflict come to them organically. And if you're worried about being boring, there's nothing that's going to solve that problem. Because a lot of people who just come into the universe, they can be a shining star just because we've never seen a personality like that before. And you don't need to cling on to some artificial conflict, for
Yeah.
star power. And that's what Anna Marie did. I did watch What Happens Live a little bit. Johnny J was in the audience
Oh,
to
really?
honor Alexis, and he looked like Johnny Depp coming out of the Viper Room in the year 1993.
Leather jacket?
Leather jacket, gold chain. I think he had a little vial of the blood that Billy Bob Thornton wore when he was dating Angelina Jolie, and he had a scarf wrapped around him.
Oh, wow. He's
And
really feeling himself.
yeah, and Andy asked him. Andy Cohen said, "Sir," he goes. First, he said, "Johnny J, do you like to be John Jansen or Johnny J?" And John J goes, "Call me John Jansen again. What the hell?" He didn't say this, but he was kind of like, "What the hell is this Johnny J crap that you've all been doing?" So he wanted to end the Johnny J era. And then Andy goes, "While I have you here, Johnny J," he goes, "Why the hell? Why the hell did you not want to sign the non-disparagement clause? In this episode?" And Johnny J said, he said, "Why would I ever sign a document that just muzzles me from speaking my truth whenever I want to talk about Shannon in the future? Like, what if I just wanted to talk shit?" And so that's why he didn't sign, which I understand. I mean, would you sign a legally binding agreement that said you can never talk disparagingly about a human being again for the rest of
I
their
feel
life?
like that's pretty standard with most settlements of people of note.
To say I will never disparage you again?
Yeah, and I feel like they're not actually that binding. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're kind of used as a scare tactic. Like, I think that you have to do that at like work, if you agree,
Hmm.
like to get a payout or something. Like, it's always sounds like shit. I think I just was. Do you remember that book, the Jeanette McCurdy book? I'm
I'm
glad
glad
my
to.
mom's dead or whatever.
I do.
They offered her like a huge Nickelodeon offered her like 200 grand or something crazy, but attached to it was like a non-disparagement clause, which in that case, I'm proud of her that she said no because I'm like, well, yeah, there were like actual wrongdoings. I'm like,
Yeah.
Shannon Bedore, I'm kind of like, if your time is done with someone, like, and you're engaged, like, move on. Like, take the cash and go.
I say never sign it. I would have the hardest time not disparaging someone if I signed that thing. The urge to disparage after you've signed a non-disparagement clause would be too much for me. I would want to
Fuck, I want to
disparage.
disparage.
I wish I could disparage right now. I don't want to say it, but I kind of get not signing a legally binding non-disparagement clause. I want to disparage, especially if you feel slighted or wronged. Andy, last thing about Watch What Happens Live is he goes, Johnny J. He goes, tell me. He goes, you look great, by the way. And Johnny J goes, thank you. And he said, what has Shannon been saying bad about you? What do you think is the disparagement about you? And he says the only two things that we've heard that the entire time, which is that he said that she slandered him by saying that he doesn't pay for anything,
Yeah.
which is just like the most egregious thing in the world to him, and also that Shannon accused him of fat shaming her at one point, which I don't even remember that
Uh-huh.
disparagement. But it's just crazy to me that still it is only those two things that Johnny J has to inform the audience that we're getting it all wrong about him. Like he's
Right.
going to war over these two little facts about him, you know?
Yeah. It's like, bro, we don't remember anything. We don't think about you. It's fine.
We really don't. And then also they're like, I heard Johnny J. He goes, "You're a little publicity shy, right?" And it's like, you went on Watch What Happens Live here in the front row with
Yeah.
Alexis sitting here.
Yeah.
Um,
I
anyway, so
saw that
that's all I'll say about Watch What Happens
she
Live.
I saw the very beginning, and Katie is like, "Look at Alexis's rock," and Alexis was trying to act like shy, like she was like, "That's enough," and I'm like, "Yeah, right. You want everyone to see that shit."
For real. Andy got that little diamond inspector.
Yeah,
You saw that? He got
the
that little
little yeah.
magnifying glass that they do. Um,
What are those called? Isn't it called like something fun, like a dime piece or something? Not that, but
do you want me to look it up?
sure. I feel like we've brought it up more than once.
Diamond, little.
Jewelry inspection. Uh,
I love
Tool.
those things. I have one at home. I just to make sure all the diamonds that I have are flawless.
I just watched a loop, jeweler's
Oh,
loop.
that's amazing. You don't see that much anymore. Those when you go to the bank and you say, "Can you inspect my diamond?" and that guy or
Yeah,
that
for
person,
the safety deposit box.
right? So you said it kind of how I feel about this. A little bit of a retread, kind
Yeah,
of like we're spinning our wheels. I do think it's very enjoyable. Like when I sat down, I was like, I like watching OC. It's not homework. It's
yeah,
not. It's not a bummer. Like if we were watching Roni last season, I would absolutely dread having to think about it. OC is not like that because I enjoy the cast, but you're giving us some non-enjoyable topics to ruminate on for too long. Even though the Shannon and Johnny J stuff is the most engaging shit you could ever have, it's just mostly everything else going on feels like a retread.
yeah. Um, so yeah, it starts out, and I did think it was sweet. Heather, I was surprised that Shannon did in fact go to dinner in the
Me
state
too.
that she was in, and Heather's like, "I have my glam squad. Use them. We'll pull it together. You can go," which I was surprised. And then in the other room, Alexis is on the phone with Johnny J. And I just have to point out they did keep in her poor use of the English language again. She said that they were eating on the premise.
She said that. Wait, she said eating on the premise, meaning
Yeah.
like we're eating within the vicinity or the
She
on
meant
the
like
ground.
premises.
All right. And then what did Johnny J say? I saw that she has him listed as Johnny J with two gigantic hearts.
Yes.
The biggest heart emoji, I think they were red, two of
Yeah.
them, and then it said Johnny J.
I wonder, I think I've said this before, but I have Jimmy saved in my phone with the emoji that's the two pink hearts in one.
Yeah,
So then when Siri, when he calls or whatever, she says, "Jimmy two hots."
that's so sweet. I love that.
So
Maybe
it'll
two
be
hearts.
heart, Johnny J heart.
Yeah, that's really sweet. I don't. Johnny J doesn't say too much on this phone call. He just goes, "Miss you, baby." He
Yeah.
says, "I'll never sign that non-disparagement clause ever in my life."
I
Right?
like, yeah, like when I go out to dinner with my friends, I'm like, let's disparage.
I mean, all Turtle Time is, you could argue, is disparagement and acclaim or accolades. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just constantly vacillating between talking shit and saying good things about
It's
people.
like in the Bling Ring when she's like, "I want to rob."
Who says that again? Emma Watson?
Yeah, I want to rob.
Oh, wow. I
I
can't
want to
believe that.
disparage.
Yeah. I mean, you can't deprive the right to talk shit about someone. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I feel like it's like a vanity agreement. Like, I don't know. It's like, what do you think? She's going to go to court again because he talks shit? I don't know.
Yeah, I just think that Shannon kind of threw a curveball at the end. Not to belabor this, but she said, "I'm going to pay your extortion rate of 75,000 because I know that you're sitting on a gold mine of videos about me almost running over your daughter." But then she goes, "But my lawyers are throwing in this legally binding document that I will sue you if you ever talk about me again." It's like that wasn't the agreement. You just added a full new layer to this. You said it was going to be over once I paid that 75,000. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Well, the extortion was a new layer as well.
The extortion was bad. We agree. I agree that extortion is definitely bad. Is it illegal?
I think so.
Extortion. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know how you like define that unless it's literally in writing, like, or else, you know?
yeah. Right. But I just understand, if I'm getting into the mind of Johnny J, I get it. Like, he wants the right
You are
to,
like
oh,
the manhunter. You love to get into the mind of the killer.
oh my God, I can do it right now. If nobody's seen Manhunter, it's just like he's a detective who he has to get in the mind of a serial killer to know how they work and how they kill people. So if I close my eyes right now, I am Johnny J, and I know exactly what he wants. He wants to go to the quiet woman and be absolutely hold court in front of everyone and tell so many tales about Shannon and all of the OC housewives, and he cannot deprive himself of that experience. It's just too validating and powerful for him.
I'm picturing your vision is like your first person walking through the quiet woman.
Oh my God, I want to go to the Quiet Woman so bad. I
I
can't
know,
wait for the day when
gosh.
you and I go.
Yes.
Okay,
Um,
and then if I'm correct, which I think I am, the cat gets out of the bag that Gina brought up the videos that are disparaging, to say the least,
yeah.
in terms of Shannon's image. We talked about this last week, but they show Shannon potentially almost running over John Jansen's daughter. That's what Katie says they are. And the kind of a silly aspect of it is that Alexis just can't believe that this was brought up this weekend. Like, in
Hmm.
her mind, she wanted that to be out in the open and be on the show, but that Shannon would never know that was going on. It's kind of a weak defense of your actions. Like,
Right.
you knew that this was coming up.
Right.
Absolutely, no matter what.
Right. So yeah, Emily's trying to talk to her about like go easy on her, and Alexis is like, it's not just her side of the story. And then meanwhile, Heather, Tamara, and Shannon sit down at the bar of the restaurant on the premises, and Heather and Tamara get espresso martinis, and Shannon orders a Belvedere soda. And I like how just like the second she orders, she goes, like, it's been a lot today. Like, she has to like immediately justify why she needs a drink. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and then Tamara, of course, is immediately like, I am floored that she's so comfortable just ordering drinks around us. I'm like, she didn't like go on like a murder spree. Like, she fucked up and got a DUI. That's shitty. That's bad. She probably should take a break from drinking, but she's not. So, like, get over it. You guys are filming at places where you don't even have the option to drive. It's fine. You're in like a enclosed environment. She has made it clear that she is going to order a drink everywhere you go. So, like,
Right.
get used to it.
Yeah, it's true. Get used to it. Shannon's gonna order a Belvedere and soda. Is Belvedere vodka?
Yes.
Is that the one that has the little butler character on it?
Are you thinking of Beefeater gin?
Yeah, I think I am. Yeah. Yep. Sorry about that. Yeah, and Tamara goes, I know why she's doing this. She wants to prove to me that she doesn't have a problem, so that's why she drinks vodka in front of me. But
Yeah, she's like,
Tamara's, or sorry, go ahead.
she was just saying, like, she thinks if she just orders like one drink or maximum two, that it'll be clear she doesn't have a problem. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think that Tamara's this storyline for Tamara up against Shannon is starting to dissipate. I think she's losing energy to keep this going,
Yeah.
and I think her and Shannon, for the most part, like made amends last week, if I remember, or at least a truce that they're not going to fuck each other over. So I think this is also the last gasp of commenting on Shannon's drinking, at least until it like comes up again. I think Tamara wants some new shit to talk about, like the Gina and
Yeah.
Katie stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amber's just like so scary. Like, I would be terrified for her to choose me as a target.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, we could be someday.
Oh my God, it's true. I saw that whole thing where she was getting into it with that Kiki Bravo, whatever her, what's her handle? Talk of Shame.
Yeah, tell me about it. I didn't watch that video. What did she
They
do?
had beef. It was like kind of newsworthy. I guess I'm gonna botch it, but Kiki, that woman's who's like a Bravo commentator,
Right.
said something about Tamara. I forget what it was, but it was just like ordinary sort of Bravo shit. And then Tamra DM'd her and was like, "What the hell? Like, why were you saying this stuff about me or whatever?" And
Wow.
Kiki was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about. Whatever timeline you're talking about, I was at the Tom Girardi trial, so like I was busy. I wasn't like talking about you or
Whoa.
whatever." And she's like, "I already talked to Andy about it." Basically, I guess Kiki Talk of Shame does some stuff with like Radio Andy or something,
Okay.
and Tamra called Andy direct and like supposedly like tried to get her fired.
Whoa. Oh my God. Tamara, you said it best. Don't get on Tamara's bad side. Well, I was gonna say Kiki has the perfect alibi at Tom
Yeah.
Girardi's trial. That means Tom Girardi could possibly be a witness to say that I know that Kiki was here at this trial.
He's
Wow.
like, "Who
Okay. All
am
right. Well,
I?"
let's. Well, I would never. Yeah, you said it. I would never want to be on Tamara's bad side, and I truly respect Tamara and everything that she does.
She's
Um,
unimpeachable. And then Emily's still talking to Alexis. Emily's like, "I just feel like this is getting very dirty, salacious, and mean." And Alexis is like, "We haven't done anything mean. If we wanted to be mean, those videos would be out already, wouldn't they?" And I was like, "Well, that's a dirty thing to say."
Yeah. And then Alexis is saying like, she's not innocent. This is not just about her. There's other things to factor in. I'm like, is there anything apart from John Jansen that you have a personal grudge against Shannon about? And I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything. It's just how she thinks that Shannon dragged Johnny J's good name through the mud. Alexis does not have a first-hand grievance against Shannon. And also another thing I was thinking is that if Johnny J was not involved, I'm sure Alexis is a huge Shannon fan and would
Mhm.
absolutely love to be friends with her. And you can see
Yeah.
it throughout this episode that she wants that olive branch so bad. She's willing to compliment Shannon, give her a kiss and a hug whenever she can. Like Alexis, I think, is a fan of Shannon, but she's only letting this, Johnny J, get his name back in good graces to be her grievance against Shannon.
Yeah, she wants it both ways. Like she wants to be welcomed into the show, but the only reason she's on the show is because she's an enemy to one of the main cast members. And it's like the only reason you're here is because she's going to hate you forever. And so you're not going to be celebrated within the group also.
Yeah. I was thinking this episode though, pretty powerful friend of. I mean, compared to like the other friend ofs that we see that are blip in and blip out every 4 episodes. Like, I mean, Alexis is going on every single trip in
Yeah.
every single episode. She's contributing to all of the conflict,
Yeah.
the compelling conflict. It's like I've never seen a friend of like that in a while.
Yeah, it's true. She kind of has like a fast pass. I mean, I guess if you are like a literal former housewife, it's a little easier.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
and she says, she's like, "You know what? I guess I shouldn't go to this dinner because it's too much drama and I don't want to upset Shannon further if she's as fragile as you say."
Hmm.
So she's going to stay in. And later she's like, "I stayed in my room for 13 hours." I was like, does that include like sleeping? Like, who
Yeah.
cares?
I thought the same thing. I thought if you got 8 hours of sleep, whatever 13 minus 8 is, that's all you had to be awake for. That's not that bad.
Yeah, like just watch House Hunters or whatever. Like, that sounds nice to me.
Yeah, just having what, 6 or 7 hours or 5 hours to just watch something. Yeah, I didn't understand that argument.
Yeah. So then she meets up. Um, Shannon tells Emily and Gina about the non-disparagement thing. So like she's still trying to keep this alive. Like, throughout the episode, she's like, "Can we just stop talking about this?" But like every chance she gets, she's like, "Can you believe this shit?"
Yeah.
Oh, but they did roll an old clip of John saying he's never loved anyone as deeply as Shannon. And she was like, crying in the confessional, saying in retrospect, she feels so stupid
Yeah.
because he really buttered her up.
He said, I love Shannon so much. And it was like full marriage talk. Like, he was like, yeah, he absolutely loved Shannon. It was jarring to see that again, how he talked about her back
Yeah,
and
but
forth.
I feel like because the clip of him saying that they're at dinner with Tamra, and I'm like, if I remember correctly, or like am assessing the situation correctly, it was Tamra being like, "What are your intentions?" Like people were suspicious of him all along the way, so I feel like he had to say stuff like that here and there to like make people less suspicious. And I'm like, I mean, there were red flags.
From him?
Like everyone always had a kind of issue with him.
Yeah. People were just, I mean, yeah, I think people thought, yeah, he had, like you said, bad intentions. Like maybe he wanted a little bit of this limelight, but he pretends that he doesn't like it at all. But then I hate to keep bringing up Watch What Happens Live, but Alexis said that Johnny J, once Alexis got the contract in the mail from Bravo, he she said that Johnny J said, "I'll pay your salary if you don't go on the show."
Yeah,
And
right.
she goes, I know. And she goes, Johnny J, look at what it is, though. It's $1,000 an episode, the friend of rate. And Johnny J goes, I'll double it if you don't go on. That's what he really said that. So Johnny J says that he didn't want her to go on the show very, very bad.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
don't
then they go
believe it.
to a dinner, right? If I remember.
Yes. Alexis texts Heather to say she's not going to come. And then Tamra is really like sticking up for Alexis across the board, just saying she says that she needs as much support as Shannon, which I'm like, how is that true? Like Shannon's life is literally crumbling apart, and like she has legal issues, she has now money issues, she's been broken up with, and Alexis doesn't have any of that, and she has the man by her side. So
Right.
like, why does she need as much support as Shannon?
Tamra just has to make up why she has such loyalty for this cast member that she was never friends with before and probably was never friends with in the off seasons. And then now why Tamra would betray an actually good friend for this new person. So she has to make up a bunch of garbage about all the shit that Alexis is going through and why we need to be sympathetic to her, even though Alexis can't even articulate what's going on with her personally and why she feels like a martyr in this situation.
Right. At one point, Shannon, it looks like she's going to leave, but she gets up and goes to a different room, and then Jen follows her, and she's sort of hooting and hollering about, she says, John's obsessed with his public image and wants everyone to think he's a good guy. Like, she said, what did she say? That he was like, look at everything we have. Like, the whole world wishes they were us.
Because people dream of what we have. She said that he would strategize. Well, this is kind of a bad example, but she goes, Alexis and John, I know that they strategize. They stay up and scheme after having sex 4 times a night. And I know they strategize because he used to do it with me. And he goes, I can remember clearly the nights when he would be yelling at the top of his lungs, people dream about what we have. And I was like, what's the strategy there?
Right.
What is that? How is that indicative of a strategy? But you know what is true about what Shannon says? Obviously, John Jansen is very obsessed with his public image. I mean,
Right.
he would have to admit that himself. He is. He's going to the mattresses to defend against the claim that Shannon picked up a bunch of meals for him in the beginning of their relationship.
Right.
So he is obsessed with that good guy image.
Yeah. And Shannon's like, I will never be in the same room as her ever again. And she's like, well, starting after tomorrow.
Yeah, I like that. A little bit of humor there.
Yeah. And then, yeah, this is where she goes back to the table and she's like, can we just have one dinner where we don't talk about this? I'm so sick of it. And then she's like, I tried to pay the amount that he wanted, but he wouldn't agree to the non-disparagement. And they're all like, I thought we weren't going to talk about this.
Yeah, it's true. And then she goes, let's talk about something else. And I'm not going to say it, but she goes, let's talk about Gina for once in our goddamn lives.
Gina's vagina rash.
Yes. Gina's apparently having an issue.
She has a lot going on downstairs this weekend. I didn't
Yeah,
know it
Gina,
was all up and down.
we talked about we talked about it last week. There were some other issues, and then now there's this, and then Shannon kind of has a sweet moment. She's like, "I'm sorry, Gina. I had to deflect," and Gina's like, "That's okay. You can deflect on me."
Yeah, and then speaking of down south, they go to a bar after, and Tamara puts her finger in Emily's butt.
Yeah,
These women can't be trusted at the bar.
I know, but then it made me sad for Tamara because I know that she wanted the like Coyote Ugly too, like where every time she goes to a bar, she wants to stick a finger up somebody's ass or dance on the bar. And the minute that Shannon said, "Let's not talk about anything that's actually going on," Bravo just fully cuts all of that shit out, and we just get flashbacks of their chaotic partying or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And then the next day, it's decided the group is going to be split up so that Shannon and Alexis don't have to be together. And they show an Alexis confessional where she tries yet again ham-fistedly to use Shannon Storm's imagery. And she says, the tornado around Shannon Storm's boudoir is her own, she created. Stop creating storms and live your life in peace. And I was like, that was the clunkiest illustration imaginable.
I thought the same thing. I said, what the hell is this? It was like a storm is brewing and we don't know where the storm is coming from, but we know Shannon Storm's boudoir is around. And it was almost like she did two takes of what she wanted to say. Also, I wanted to say about these two events, I think the Bravo producers, one of them, like went to sleep the night before and he realized he had to or they had to figure out what the cast was doing this next day, because both of these things are like the laziest events that I've ever seen any housewives do: biscuit making and meditation in the forest.
Yeah, which was just like, it wasn't even a sound bath. It was just like lying on a blanket.
She said it was forest feeding or whatever, where you're supposed to like get nutrients from the forest or something, but it was just meditation on blankets in nature.
Yeah, it was like nothing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's teed up that Katie wants to talk to Heather again, and that she wants to throw Gina under the bus again. Shannon is sleeping in past noon, which I respect. And then Tamra says under her breath on the way to Biscuits that she can't stop shitting. And I'm like, what is going on?
I think they both drank that spa water. You know how they were in the spa last week? I think some of the spa water must have like maybe Emily splashed them both, and some of the water that they were sitting in got in their mouths, because yeah, they're both having major issues.
It's not good. It's like Charlotte in the Sex and the City movie.
No. And I did audibly groaned when Katie said, hey, I think everybody, I got to bring up this thing with Heather again, because last 2 weeks ago when I tried to apologize, Heather said, let's never talk about this again. Let's just have a truce. This is over now. And then Katie wants to go back again and do it. It's just, that's a full flop from a new cast member. Only a new cast member would do that.
Because it's like, for what? Heather already like doesn't really like you.
Yeah.
No amount of you convincing her that Gina's the one that convinced you to do it will make her trust you. Like, it literally doesn't matter.
And even me at I'm loving Gina this season, and I didn't love her as much in the past, but even I, as a former not Gina enjoyer, I wouldn't think that she would do that to Heather. I think she legitimately likes Heather, and they have a good friendship. And if anything, she's on tiptoes, on thin ice with Heather at all times, trying to avoid getting into issues with Heather. So I don't really believe Katie in this instance. I think that she is so lost in the machinations of how these shows work that even she doesn't truly know what Gina did at the start of this thing.
Right. It's still confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing, but we'll never get to the bottom of it.
No. At the biscuit making, Gina is giving Tamra shit for being hard on Shannon. And she's like, I understand what she's going through because I've had my own shit. And I look over at Shannon and see that she's 20 years ahead of me, and I don't like what I see. So that's what convinced me to quit drinking. And I was like, that's kind of brutal.
Yeah, it was supposed to be an endearing statement about Shannon, about how like we should all rally around Shannon, but she really, I mean, it sounds awful.
Yeah, she's like, she's such a train wreck that I decided to get sober so that I don't grow into her life.
Yeah, and they also pick apart Tamra's storyline with Shannon in a way where they're like, what the hell are you doing over there? You were Shannon's best friend. Why the hell are you going so hard against her this season? I mean, basically that was the implication of that. And then Tamra's like, no, it's just because I can't stand to be around her anymore, whatever she's using to justify being a disloyal friend and hating Shannon. And then Gina's like, well, then don't dictate how we deal with Shannon. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'm not one to defend Tamra, but I will say she has been consistently saying for many, many years that being Shannon's friend is overwhelming.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
Isn't that the time that like Tamra like runs away in Mexico or whatever? Like, she like there's that iconic image of her like running through the lobby or whatever. I think it
Hmm.
was literally about her saying
Wow.
that like her family is literally like Shannon cannot keep calling you at all hours of the night. Like it's too
Yeah.
much. Like
If I
men,
remember,
yeah.
yeah, if I remember correctly, Shannon is a drunk dialer, and would call different cast members drunk as a skunk at night and
I
just
mean,
talk to
that
them.
is a nightmare low key.
Yeah. Do you have a drunk dialer, a drunken caller that calls you in the middle of the night?
Not the middle of the night, but I do have some people that it's like, you can tell you only get a call when they're in a certain mood. And if it doesn't align with your mood, you're like, I'm not a phone chatter anyways. I guess
Yeah,
that's the millennial in me.
I know.
But
I call you so often.
I mean, sometimes it really does make more sense to talk on the phone.
I try to keep it straight to the point, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not mad at your calls.
Okay,
We
good.
keep it quick.
I had a drunken dialer for a phase of my life. No, not me.
Yeah,
I was a recipient of a couple.
you have to gray rock,
I
decline.
did. That means Grey Rock, if I remember correctly from Vanderpump Rules season 10, was that you show no emotion. You just let them ha let them give you all of their emotion, but you give nothing back.
Yeah, you're like, wow, cool, sounds
Damn.
good.
All right. Yeah. So I think, like I think I already said this. I do find Tamra's worry slash anger at Shannon to be more have more merit than a normal Tamra storyline where I know she's just faking her ass off for
Yeah,
conflict.
right. Um, yeah, we get a quick scene with Katie and Heather because she tries to bring it up and say that Katie says she was set up, and Heather's like, "You're going backwards. I told you not to do this. Good day."
Yes. Heather shuts it down like nothing I've ever seen. And I mean, Katie just cannot talk about it. Katie goes, I guess this has to be the end then if you just will not receive me talking about it. But Heather was right. I don't think we wanted to hear in the forest a rehash of that. I
Yeah,
did, for a second, I did like when they were, I mean, this is just kind of like a little comedic moment, but I did like when they were hearing the symphony of birds and stuff. And then Shannon is like very sick and she was, what was she doing? Snoring or
she was
hacking off?
coughing,
Yeah.
and she was like, she said she the night before she had a temperature, and she was like, "I just think it's the stress. Like her body is always so fragile."
She got sick so quickly.
I know.
Girl, what the hell? I'm thinking about it now. What the hell is going on at this? What was this place called?
Oh yeah, it was like something ranch or something. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's haunted.
Yeah, it sounds like what. Yeah, I forget what ranch it was, but we loved it last week. You and I were saying we were going to book a trip there, but
Yeah.
two of them are shitting their brains out. One of them got a mysterious fever. Like, what is going on over there? And there was a bug in Katie's tea pot.
Oh right. Okay, now we get to the fashion show, which I'm like, okay, I didn't even realize there was like a fashion line built
Yeah,
into
there.
all of this.
Heather Heather did three Bravo tropes in one.
Yeah.
She said it's a charity event that's also a wine tasting slash wine event slash fashion show.
Yeah.
And then she gives a confessional where it's 3 minutes of explaining how the hell she went from from Equality Farms charity
Oh,
to
right.
doing a runway show
Right.
for what is it? It's family equality, right?
Yeah, it was like she was doing this brand collab anyways, but the launch sales are going to go to the charity, but the brand will live outside of that too, so it is kind of just promo.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it immediately turns in. They all are like trying on what they're going to wear, and she decided that Alexis and Emily, yes, I still
Yeah.
have the name blindness,
Yeah.
would wear the same dress. And the second thing that Emily's going to wear, she had to bring her own jeans, and she was to wear what Heather called the big jacket, which I
Yeah.
think by the look of it, Tamra wore the same jacket. Like, I do think it's mountain out of a molehill here, but it's clear that there's going to be drama about Emily's insecurity about being bigger than the other women and that she was treated differently around like the
Yeah.
clothes and the sizing and whatever, which I do think was true, like personal insecurity. I don't know what the deal with the jeans was or whatever, but like, by the way, she looks great.
Yeah. She looked,
Um,
she looked amazing. I also I wasn't sure if Emily was going to make more of this than what we saw. But then when we see the scenes from next week, we know it's going to blow up.
Yeah, which like
Yeah,
I feel like it's just going to be upsetting. Like I hope that Heather handles it well, but I think it's just going to be like bad.
yeah, I think Heather's in shutdown mode because she's kind of has a little bit of PTSD from last season where she
Yeah.
was getting raked over the coals for everything. So maybe she wants to shut things down immediately. So I don't think she's very receptive to Emily from what I saw.
Yeah.
Um, but she did. I did notice when Heather said we have this big jacket for you. You could tell that she bit her tongue a little bit after she
Yeah.
said big, like she was like, "Oh, that's the wrong word I want to use,"
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know, just that with the combination of bringing her own genes, I can kind of imagine a world where Emily felt like she was being treated differently from the rest of the
Sure.
cast members.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine having to stand next to all those women that are just like unbelievably thin and tiny. Like it's too much.
Also, when Shannon puts on her fur coat, we didn't say these are for people when you go somewhere, you need basics immediately. So it's a place that will send you a bunch of the basics that you'll need, or you go to a town and they'll have a store like this that just sells basics. What was it?
Yeah, it was like just some designer and they focused on basics.
Right. It was like, yeah, I forget how she sold it.
And like
But then
how
Shannon puts
iconic.
on, yeah, Shannon puts on one of the basic versions of the fur coat, and Alexis, little bit of a olive branch, says, "Hey, you look good in that." But Shannon doesn't receive it well.
Right. Um, then outside, Tamra and Heather go into this Katie Gate shit. And Tamra is like, I think Gina has her paws all over this.
Yeah.
Like, it's all her plan. And she said that they show Katie saying that what Gina told her was to say, I know about the paparazzi, so the whole like getting snubbed at Sutton's party and the tagging on Instagram proves I knew you were always a liar. And again, I don't know why every single aspect of this whole thing like boggles my mind. Like I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Like
It
what are
might
you
be worth.
talking about?"
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fully. I mean, just to. I think to defend us, Bravo doesn't even do a good job of including the flashbacks of these conversations
Right.
for us to remember what the hell is going on. I think they don't want anything to do with the storyline anymore, so they're not helping us along.
Right.
Like, I do not understand any detail of this. I don't understand how Tamara is doing what she wants to do. She goes, "I'm done torturing Shannon, so now I want to stir up this shit and make this. This thing is simmering at a 6 out of 10. I want to bring this to a 9 or a 10 out of 10." So Tamara's just doing a bunch of shit to make everybody really mad and adding new, potentially fake details to this.
Right. Oh, and then yeah, it comes up that she says that Katie said that Gina said she only keeps Heather close for her real estate connections, which I'm
Yeah.
like, that's like a dirty thing. Like that's like takedown fodder, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I thought so too, and it's one of those things where I give Gina the benefit of the doubt. Here I am sitting here defending Gina. I do not think that she would ever say something so callous to a new full-time cast member that's just coming on the show
right,
about why she's using Heather for her career.
right. Like, I'm sure she's aware of that Heather is a good friend to have, but yeah, to like, why would she like say it in such a villainous way?
Yeah, I would keep Heather and Terry as friends for that reason, but I would never say it out loud.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did this had sort of your metaphor of the not the Titanic sinking, but it did have a little bit of like mid-season finale energy or slash finale energy. There was a lot of scrambling to get a lot of stuff done at this event.
Yeah.
Almost everyone was involved in some stirring up of a feud. The Alexis and Shannon shit, the Katie stuff.
Yeah. Um, oh, the end of that conversation I was just talking about is that Heather's like, well, if she thinks like she's gonna get business from me, then she really fucked that up.
Yeah.
And so that's will come up later. But I was
Yeah.
like, Heather, like, chill.
Yeah, Heather, stop. But Heather really doesn't want any of this stuff to come up on this night at
Right.
all. Like
Yeah.
she's putting a pin in it until she can talk about it later in the episode.
Yep. So then the show starts. She gives a nice speech. Terry's crying. She's crying. Alexis is tearful. And she, yet again, is quite vague about her family's relation to this topic. She just says that she personally gets to live freely and she wants her family to be able to live unapologetically. And I'm like, okay, but like, in what circumstance do you mean?
Right. Yeah, we're missing a little bit of Alexis background here.
Yeah, like it would be interesting.
Yeah.
And they're all rallying around talking about how the group wants Alexis and Shannon to have a conversation, which I'm like, literally, why?
Right.
Like, there's literally an ongoing lawsuit and like essentially extortion happening. Like,
Right.
she's dating her ex. Like what is there to talk about? Like,
Right. And
literally,
Shannon
why?
just and Shannon just heard the worst version of things now for the first time of how escalated this conflict is. Why would this ever be the moment where now I say, let's call a truce? I want to talk to you. She's still reeling from the fact that Johnny J is threatening to release these videos of her. So it makes no sense, but it's just that whoever wants to be the mediator of this knows that they get a lot of clout for bringing a cataclysmic event to the show, but there's no justification for why that would happen at all at this
Right.
point. And
Right.
I love that Shannon. I love when people make true decisions, even when conflict would lead them the right way. A
Yeah.
lot of other people on different franchises would definitely have the sit down, but sometimes it's good to say no organically or whatever, true to myself, authentic. I would not have this conversation now
Right.
because not every conversation has to be let's bring it up and let's immediately talk about it. I like sometimes when they like Heather denying this conversation. I'm fine that she put it on the back burner for a little bit. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. She's like, actually, like, absolutely not. I actually have to catch a flight
Yeah.
right now. And she goes up to Alexis and she's like, I hear that you are interested in talking to me, and I'm absolutely not interested in having that conversation.
Yeah. And it was cool and brave of Shannon to go right up to Alexis and tell her that. I thought it
Yeah.
was interesting because obviously Alexis wants to sit down so much more than Shannon does.
Yeah.
It would give everything to Alexis to have another sit down with Shannon, but Shannon will not facilitate that for Alexis.
Yeah. It's like so stupid.
Right.
Um, the next day, they go bike riding, which they're all making a big meal out of the fact that it's too much physical exercise, too hard.
Yeah, I thought that they had. For some reason I thought that they had like maybe left and gone back home. I didn't know what was going on because I don't know. I thought that they were leaving. I think I closed my eyes for 1 second, but no, this is like their last day on the trip, and they want to bike ride to Russian River.
Like
Uh,
winery or vineyard. Yeah,
right.
it's
Anything
beautiful
notable
up
about the
there.
bike ride besides them saying this sucks?
No, it gets them to lunch or the wine tasting or whatever, where shit begins immediately about Gina, Katie, and Heather. Um, and Katie's like, I heard you've been calling me a liar. And I was like, all right, straight to the point, respect. Um,
Hmm.
and they're going back and forth. Um, Gina's like getting so pissed. She's like basically yelling immediately, why are you involving me in this? Um, and then she's also talking to Heather, like, I already apologized for this. Like, what are we doing? And Heather's like, why are you yelling at me? But also, I heard that you're using me for my connections, or that's what Katie said.
Hmm.
And she's like, what?
Oh my god, that was a good Gina. That's exactly what she did at that table.
And, she's like, Emily on the side is like, Gina doesn't say stuff like that. She doesn't talk like that. Um, and she's like, now Gina's very upset. She's like, do you know how close I am to losing everything? Like, I don't need this on my plate right now.
Yeah.
She says that she works hard. She doesn't need Heather's connections to
Yeah.
survive.
I want to give a shout out to Gina here. I really felt like she got, Katie went in ready to go, ready to ignite this controversy again. And I think Gina, even though Tamara says you're so defensive, you're screaming, you look guilty as hell, I actually think Gina turned around the conversation pretty well. She got out of the Katie shit by calling her a liar and saying, "What the fuck are you doing, bringing this up again? I'm going through a lot of stuff." And then she goes, "Fuck off, Heather. If you can't forgive me, I've already bowed down to 100 times. So fuck off unless you're going to forgive me." And then Heather gets away and like kind of forgives her, and then she's like, "I'm going through stuff," and then everyone sort of caters to Gina to talk about the Travis shit. I was like, "Damn, Gina, you kind of swayed the entire table," and even Tamara was kind of coming in with shots at her. It's like she handled that very well.
I know, it was kind of crazy the way it worked out, because like she's like calls Katie a liar, and she's like, "You're lying right now." Like, I was like, okay, like she's straight up calling her a liar, and like that she's lying to everyone's faces. And Emily is like, "Okay, what exactly did Gina say about Heather?" And Katie then rephrases it and says, the quote is, "We are close and she helps me with my career." And everyone's like, "Oh, who gives a fuck?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. It sounded so much more nefarious the way that Tamara put it, which was Tamara's intention. But then it could totally be construed as it's just a normal part of her life that she like that Heather helps her with her career. It doesn't sound so bad in that light.
Yeah, and she's like, "What do you mean she helps me?" And then Katie's like, "She does help you, like with the Altmans." And I was like, $1 million listing, shout out.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm not working with the Altmans."
So does that mean, good Gina, by the way, does that mean that Gina was potentially being floated to also segue on the $1 million listing like Heather kind of does?
That would be fun, I guess.
Yeah, some could consider it fun. I'm just like wondering what the Altmans, does that just mean off camera you could potentially work with the Altmans, not necessarily on $1 million listing?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know, because it's like if they're rival brokers, I don't really know how helpful that would be, except that like I guess it's good to know like the top brokers, but like if she's not going to work at their firm, then I don't know. But like $1 million listing, the Altman brothers, Josh Altman, he's the only one that he works for himself, and the other ones are at different firms. So like she technically could pop in at whoever she's with now.
Oh.
But that would be a fun, stupid, like they should just have her do like an open house where like people pop in just for fun.
Yeah, that would be great.
But yeah, she's like crying about Travis because they're trying to be like, Emily specifically, she does have her back throughout this. She's like, she's going through like gnarly stuff at home. Like this is real. Like there's a reason she was already upset. And she starts crying about Travis and that like she's not sure if their relationship can survive them not living together. And everyone is kind of like, okay, like we'll switch gears here and be nice to her.
Yeah, every time they show a flashback of Travis, he's like looking out the window wistfully, or he's like crying and packing their clothes. It's like really, really sad. And then Tamara says, "Is there any way, Gina, that you can get a bigger house someday with Travis?"
Right. Which like isn't even the point, because like she definitely could have figured out a version of that now.
Right.
And yeah, she just says his divorce is really intense, and she says it's hard because, they were basically saying like if they don't have like an end goal, like getting married or, moving in together, then their relationship has kind of been like stasis. Like they don't really know what they're doing.
Right.
But yeah, like Gina and Katie are like, she's like, "All right, like I'll get over this, but like you gotta quit doing what you're doing," aka like lying or like telling everyone everything I've ever said. And Katie's like, "You need to stop what you're doing," or whatever. And they're both like, "All right, like let's all," it was a true like bury the hatchet without it being resolved at all. And everyone just like cheers us.
Yeah, no, it was sweet because halfway through, I think while Gina's expressing her feelings about Travis, Katie just gives up and just is like, "I want to be sympathetic to you." So she starts to like, like try to want to hug her and console her and everything. And then they do have this truce at the end, which I thought was really, really sweet. It was kind of like, let's never talk about this again, hopefully, which I liked. And then Heather said, "We're wheels up at 4 p.m., everybody, so let's scoot out of here." And then that was the end of the episode.
Yeah. I mean, I originally like believed Gina because the way that you know, you never know because it was only what was on camera, but she was saying like at the bar and stuff like, I told you not to talk about this. Um, so I was like, is she really that cunning that she would tell her previously to go forward with a storyline and then on camera tell her not to? Or was it like a misunderstanding, like they were kind of talking shit and then Katie was like, I'm moving forward. Like I can't tell if like what degree of like dastardly deeds it is versus like a miscommunication versus like I don't know. I kind of believe in Katie being a tryhard more than Gina being like vicious, but also maybe I'm foolish. I don't know.
I believe it's not that dastardly slash um um like like a genius move for Gina to potentially think that this was a valuable storyline off camera for Katie to start her run this season with and talk to her about it. Um, but I'm kind of just defaulting to believing Gina that she knew that this was in the ether and before, and she was going to tell Heather that this was something that was bubbling up because she's Heather's friend and it's gotten on the show this season if Katie didn't do it herself. And that's what Katie is using to be like, she told me to bring this up to Heather before she did. But I think that I'm defaulting to thinking that Gina handled this well. I don't know why. I'm just
Yeah.
sympathetic to
Yeah.
her right now.
Right. And then meanwhile, Heather's like, now why am I in it?
Yeah, true. And we'll never know. I mean, it's one of the biggest mysteries of the last two seasons, whether or not Harry and Heather wanted, that beautiful photo of them on Splash Mountain.
We should go to Disneyland and recreate the photos of them like pointing.
Oh my God. I want to so bad. It's perfect. I close my eyes right now and I can imagine us doing it. It's the most powerful photo I've ever seen. You
Yeah.
saw that there, if you kept going, there was more of them on Space Mountain and Pirates of the Caribbean. Did you see those photos?
There's like a TMZ photographer in the bejeweled bed with the skull in it, like
Yeah. And then yeah. And then apparently Terry barfed on It's a Small World.
oh no.
I
He
don't know why they
barfed
don't
at
care about.
the inappropriate cultural representations.
Do they I haven't been to Disneyland in a while. Probably pre 2016. Did they fix
They might have changed some things. It's I usually skip that one just because it's like kind of boring.
yeah.
It is kind of fun, just because it's so janky. Like it's
Yeah.
literally cardboard cutouts,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun to see. That's how the Storyland stuff
Works.
is too, where it's just like I love that this is all it was. Like so
Yeah.
simple. It's just like
Imagine.
carnival painted
Yeah.
outlines.
It's like when they say that people were jumping out of the way of that train, like you remember the
Yeah,
Gower Gulch train. It's like people were like, "Oh my God, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride! I'm spinning around, and Mr. Toad's
I'm
right in
in
front."
hell.
I mean, oh my God, that Mr. Toad's about a drunken night through hell.
That's true. I think did we call an episode one time something like that?
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is about him drinking his ass off and spinning around, and then I think crashing into something, if I
Yeah, I
remember.
think he does literally drive through hell. Did I tell you that when I went to France a few months ago, that the town that I stayed in has the oldest movie theater where they first showed that train
No,
movie?
no way.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
La
God.
Ciotat, France. It's like 30 minutes from Marseille.
Do they don't still play it, do they?
The theater is working. We didn't end up going. I took photos like outside and stuff, and there was like a mural of the train on like
Oh
the
my
wall
God.
outside. But I don't know if they show the train movie, which they should. They should just run it like all day.
Like for I don't know, it was probably like 8 minutes or something.
Yeah,
Just play that at the beginning of every day. What if you were like, you're kind of like talking shit about those people, and then you went in to watch the train movie and it scared the shit out of you, and you had to run away
yeah. Like I
from it?
immediately am convinced that like I'm in danger because it's so realistic.
Yeah. That's amazing. You told me all about France, and
I can't believe I didn't mention. I'll send you a photo. I wish that I went in. It just didn't work out. We were like going to the beach and stuff, but
that makes sense. I
um,
told you I went to France one time, and I wanted to see a movie in France just to be a part of the culture, and it was the worst movie I've ever seen. It was this
what was
movie
it?
where Ewan McGregor loses. It's called all your senses go
Oh,
dark one by one. So it was an American movie subtitled in French, but it was the worst movie I've ever seen where Ewan McGregor's taste buds go numb.
what movie is that?
It's called Ewan McGregor's. It's
Wild
called
Ride.
it's called Ewan McGregor's Wild Ride. It was only showing in Paris, France. The one weekend I was there. I'll look it up for
That's
you.
a good Cinematrix.
You better believe it. I'll send you this.
Yeah,
No
please
one has
send
ever
it.
seen this movie except I think me.
Yeah, I've
It's
never
Ewan
heard of
McGregor
that.
loses his sense of smell, then his taste, then
Wow.
his hearing, then his vision.
I thought you were gonna say that Roman Polanski movie from like 2010 that was actually kind of good.
The Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I started watching that. The first 45 minutes, people say it's secretly good. Have you watched it yet?
I saw it in theaters.
Oh,
I
did you
haven't
like
seen it
it?
since. At the time, I liked it.
Oh my God, that's awesome. No,
Um,
I was begging for a Roman Polanski movie in that theater.
the only movie I've seen in France was The Holiday version original, so it was not dubbed, had subtitles.
Oh,
Um,
that's nice.
and
Does she go to France in it or London?
yeah, London,
Oh,
England.
London.
But yeah, that was what 2006. And then I always remember that when Jimmy studied abroad in Rome, he said that the big movies that were everywhere were both Russell Crowe Robin Hood
Oh wow.
and Hump Day.
What was Hump
Hump
Day?
Day is like a Mark Duplass like mumblecore movie, and it was like a big deal in Europe for some reason.
They were loving it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was the movie I was thinking of, but I was like, no way is there a billboard with Robin Hood and Hump Day right next to it. Mark Duplass and like the other mumblecore guy, I
Yeah.
think, is in it, and they both have to have sex with Greta Gerwig or something.
Yeah, she's like always the avatar for if you
Right.
can't think of anyone else.
Right. Um, okay. Well, good. You think we got to the crux of this episode of Orange County?
I think so. Yeah. I mean I'm enjoying the season. It's kind of like low key, like just like enjoyable, not too crazy, but enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to have like Salt Lake. I think we'll add a little
Yes.
flavor, and
It's
then
yeah.
Roni will be a mess.
It's kind of like summer school for us when
Yeah.
homework's not that hard and you don't really have to study and all the teachers are nice to you. That's what OC feels like. And then fall, you and I are going to start crunching for exams with all that
Oh my
shit.
God. And like Southern Charm.
I can't wait.
Um, but yeah, I'm like already thinking for next year, like trips are starting to come up and stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to be smart about summer house season because it's gonna
Yeah.
be a big deal.
Oh my God. Well, tease me, please. What trip's coming up next year?
I don't know. I've had a few pitched to me that I don't know if I can do all of the above or not, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll make sure that when Turtle Time is rocking and rolling next year, that we'll plan around those things for
Yeah, we
sure.
need more Patreons so I can travel the globe.
Let's start doing the Patreon. We're going to end this conversation pretty soon, but let's do our Patreons for next next year early. See if we could do, you know what I mean? See how like not topical we could be, but
Right. Yeah, we should start pitching that package where like you become an annual member instead of a monthly member so that we get the cash up front and then I can take the money and run.
oh, right. Non-disparagement tier where
Honestly,
annual
that's good.
it's annually paid, but there is no right to content past a certain point. We can
Yeah,
do that.
we should use like our Patreon agreement, whatever what's that called? The terms and conditions
Yeah.
is similar to Disney Plus where you agree to all kinds of shit when you pay us $5 a month.
Yeah, and it applies to anything in the Bravo universe. If we go to Jackson Studio City and you get drunk and barf or something, like you and I have no liability for what people do, in the Bravo universe.
Yeah, they're like, Jax is like, I don't even know who you are. I'm like, since we talk about Bravo, you're looped in through this document that we drafted, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think that is amazing. And I was going to say to end this, maybe this episode, but end with the stuff that we normally talk about. Why don't you do the opposite of a non-disparagement clause? Well, wait, yeah. Why don't you
Yeah.
sign a non-disparagement clause with Amy and I and go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere where you can possibly review a podcast, even maybe on YouTube. I don't know if you can do that, but if you like this episode for some reason and you found joy and merit, why not give us a beautiful, beautiful review? Because when those things come in, Amy and I read every single one and we absolutely love it. And it helps other people find out about Turtle Time because they're like, what the hell is this 4.9 out of 5
Pretty
star
good.
podcast? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I keep meaning to say this is inside baseball, but I am going to post some of our fun reviews on social media just to give shout outs. So
That would be
maybe
so.
if you do it, maybe you'll get selected.
Oh, that is. Oh, how enticing is that? You could do, and if you want, you could do one of the one stars about me if you want at the very end.
We were accused of being too woke. I roll.
When?
It, the other week, it was like, Jesus Christ. Which I'll take it. It balances out me being a misogynist. If I'm too woke on one end and a misogynist on the other, it means I'm perfectly balanced.
Jesus Christ! This podcast is too woke. No way! I didn't see that one.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, if you don't write that necessarily, but whatever you want to write, whatever comes to mind, review us, and then also I'll just say it. Amy and I have a Patreon. We started it last year. It's the Villa Rosa VIP program. We have a lot of wonderful Villa Rosa VIPs that are listening now that are part of this program. And Amy and I have been recapping Vanderpump Rules from the very first episode, season 1, episode 1. And
Yep.
we are all the way into season 5, episode 9, I think, is the one that's coming out.
Hmm.
And so you have what's that called? A
Backlog.
backlog of so much content that you can listen to for $5 a month. And then also you get this wonderful community experience with a bunch of other Villa Rosa VIPs. And you get a brand new episode a week, if you subscribe. So I think it's a fun place, and I think you'll absolutely love it if you enjoy Turtle Time.
Yep. And, it's constantly impressing us with how relevant the topics remain since all of these characters are still in our lives. So it's a fun
Yeah.
revisit.
And it helps you and I to sort of be going back to the Vanderpump Rules well because it informs our discussions about all this contemporary stuff, like you said. So it has been great. So, all right. Well, anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to the little turtle
I
cuties?
don't
And
think so. Godspeed to the little turtle cuties if they play Cinematrix. We'll see what tomorrow brings us. You never know.
I can't wait to find out. Will you please text me whatever ends up happening on
I
there? I'm going
will.
to try my hand at it tomorrow too.
It really determines what kind of day I'm going to have, how I start there.
Oh my God. All right. Let me know how it goes. And little turtle cuties, let us know how it goes if you do that as well. All right. Amy and I are going to sign off. I'm going to stop this Riverside recording right now. Goodbye.
Bye.